Good evening, race fans. I'm your host, Caden Rife, and welcome back to another installment of the 5th season of the NASCAR Sega Nationals. We're here tonight. It's race number 9 of 20, the Kansas City Airport circuit for the Boeing Aerospace 120. As we get set to roll here tonight, take you to the racetrack and your starting lineup here today. If I could get the stream set up correctly, there we go.
Shit.
Cap, get back in your car, bro. Steph grabs pole here tonight, was the only driver in the 50 flat range. A 50.046 for him. He starts on pole, and to his inside as he elects the outside on the start is Chris, starting in the second position, your second car in the championship standings. Third place belongs to Cap on the timing charts, although I believe he is starting further down the order here tonight. Fourth belongs to Red. Jack goes in 5th place, another top 5 starting spot for the 11th. Tanner is in 6th. 7th belongs to F1R. Hydra in 8th. 9th is going to be Fan with Jellin, last week's winner, in 10th. 11th is Gavin. 12th is Net. Junior in 13th. And 14th belonging to Addicted. And that is your 14-car field. I can have you guys get in your cars for the start, please. Thank you. All right, so as a reminder, I think there were a couple people here that were not here for the previous race, so I would like to remind everyone of our new restart procedure. As we've seen in Sprite, there have been some issues with the M messages, so just as a demonstration, again, this is not the official start, when I say ready, this banner will appear. That is your signal to be ready for the restart, and when it disappears, that is the signal for the green flag. Once again, all restarts are video reviewed if necessary. But without further ado, I believe it is time for the Chaos Bowl. 60 laps of racing here from Kansas City. I should probably turn my game volume down just a little bit. Steph and Chris on the front row. Let's get ready to roll here. Green flag, and we are underway from Kansas City as Steph. A good start from the pole. He leads us through 1 and into turn 2. Oh, and already into the wall is Fan, and he's already out of the race. 2 corners and already Fan a collision, and one of your top 5 in points is out of the race.
Absolute
in the first 2 corners.
Red all over the back of the 67 here, coming into the second and third sectors, diving towards that hairpin. He's all over his bumper, so race back to the line. It's anyone's game. Oh, sends it down the inside. That's going to allow the 25 of Addicted to possibly peek his way in.
Here comes Chris, trying to make it a 3-horse race. A little bit of bumper side by side. Steph slams the door on Red. And this time, through the final corner, the pole sitter holds on. Chris into P3, as everybody else sliding across the line. So first caution of the race. I do not believe anybody else DNF'd coming back to the stripe or hit the death wall. And we are under caution after just 1 lap. Fan takes an early exit.
I thought the 25 was Addicted because I saw the Penn Station on his car. Whoops. It's been a while.
So I'd like to get a look back at what happened here on the start. Tanner said it was on him. I do want to take a look at what happened on this start to see exactly how Fan ended up in the death wall. And yes, it was the 88. So
yeah, Tanner kind of stalled out on the start. I'm not exactly sure what happened in turn 2, but it was just a pile up.
He went tight against the inside wall there in turn 2 and washed wide. There is no such thing as a 1 of 3. It's a penalty point.
Yeah.
So a lap 1 caution here from Kansas City, which is par for the course at this racetrack. Steph holds the lead from the pole. There are not rejoins, no. So an early exit again for one of our top 5 in the standings. That is a rough go around for Fand, who was 3rd in the championship. Not far off of Chris entering tonight. He was under 20 points behind the 25 today, if I'm not mistaken. And just a little bit over 27 points behind him. Stefan Red on the front row. If we get down to one car, that car would win the race by default. There is no rejoin ever.
Do they have to finish the rest of the laps?
No.
Fuck.
All right, Stefan Red on the front row. Ready. Green flag, and we are back underway. Good start for Steph. Red gonna let him clear. Contact between Jelen and Chris. He's gonna get drop kicked back into traffic. And another hit. A couple of cars in the death wall. Addicted. Hydra. I believe they're both in the race, and they are, so the green flag stays in the air.
Red down the inside from Steph out of the hairpin. They're still kind of side by side. Steph's gonna let him by. Red will clear him. Chris, meanwhile, stays in third. Top 3 so far, very similar to how it was before.
So as we get back up to speed here for the first time tonight, Steph takes over the lead there in turn 8 through 9. 4 cars under a blanket for the lead on the opening lap. It's Steph, Red, Chris, and now Net trying to go underneath the Yorkie for the 3rd position. Side by side between those two out of the final corner.
It's a dead heat through the kinks here, and it looks like Net is going to clear for 3rd place. Great move from him. Yeah.
Net would love to grab some stage points and close in on the Chase cut line versus Lob, who D&Q'd today. Steph in the lead.
Chris takes a bit of a peek there in the hairpin, but it's nothing much. I'm not sure. Was Net running that Old Spice game before?
Yes, he was.
I was going to say, it's a really nice looking throwback.
So top 5 goes Steph, Red, Net, Chris, then Gavin in the 8 cars in P5. A lot of Oceanic cars in a line here, 3 of them as a matter of fact. Chris back to Cap, who's in 6th. Everything else staying clean for the moment. Net way off the road. That allows Chris up the inside, and he's going to take over the 3rd position.
Yeah, and we saw Red peeking on Steph earlier in one of the last hairpins there. The thing I really love about this track is you got some wide arcing corners that you can make good passes in, but also you can kind of run multiple lines side by side. They're like, you can really go for a move like we see here with Net trying to peak but can't quite keep that momentum because it just tightens up on that inside line.
Yeah, and the Red in that 4 car was pretty quick here last season. It was kind of a heartbreaking end to the Season 4 event at this racetrack that cost him the win, with the pop-up and all that, and has himself a pretty good car, as again, everybody tight into turn 8, the slowest corner on this racetrack. Top 5 are kind of under a blanket from Red in 2nd place back to about Gavin, as again, Net up the inside of Chris, really wide out of the final corner there, trying to hold on to that 3rd position. These two have been deadlocked in what has been a very clean battle for the 3rd position over the course of this run. But again, Net takes over from the 25. Gavin and Cap are lurking behind with a chance to take over and maybe pick up some points. Chris back up the inside in turn 3. Side by side as they head down to the 2 flat-out kinks of the backstretch. And Chris once again takes over P3 as these two continue to trade positions.
Yeah, incredible battling from them. They're about dead even on pace. Meanwhile, we have Red giving pressure to Steph for the lead. Dives it down the inside. Will Steph say anything back? No, he'll lift off and Red will clear him for the top spot.
Steph trying to go back up the inside in 9 through 10 and 11, the final 2 corners. Steph finally, Red finds a way through for the lead. Has been on the back bumper of Steph for the lead for quite a while. Finally takes over that top spot. These two have been pretty equal on speed since the drop of the green flag. Steph trying to find a way around, looking left, looking right, down into turn number 3. Red, not even slightly phased, but then runs a little wide. Steph trying to find the inside lane, and he's going to take that lead back over. A nice move by Steph. These two, a lot of clean battling at the front of the field, as well as Gavin takes over for 4th. behind his teammate Chris as Net drops down to P5.
Yeah, these guys are being real smart up front. Real nice battles. Red putting the pressure back on once again. He's so good in that sector. Got a bit of a stack up. Cap's going to leave a lot of time. Meanwhile, Red's going to dive down the inside. He's going to take the lead once again. It is just a cat and mouse game from these top 4 drivers.
And Steph made a really big mistake there in the final 2 corners. He ran over the sausage curb on the outside in between the final 2 turns, and that allows Chris into the mix. Red, not a great first little section there through the 2 kinks of 1 and 2, which allows Steph to close back in. But how about Chris up the inside? What a slide job! And Chris takes over P2. Chris. Wow.
Yeah, that was an amazing move. And, you know, this track, I kind of mentioned it earlier, but I feel like, I don't know if there's necessarily a correct line, or there's almost just a least wrong line, because you got guys all over the place.
Oh, and Steph goes around!
No. Stack up in the hairpin.
He tried to send it back on Chris, and a big collection. This is a huge stack up. Jelen in the mix. Net losing time.
Here. Yeah, Jelen's in this big pack now. Gavin's trying to pull away for 3rd. This is great for him. Steph down to 4th. That's heartbreaking. The lowest he's been all race.
Battle between Cap and Net for the 5th position, and Net goes for a slide. Jelen slips through. As they're all over the place, that is for P5 between Jelen, Cap, and Net. And Jelen on the inside. Steph grabs the inside wall. Net loses the most out of it. Jelen moves into the top 5 as Steph is out of the stage points now.
Steph and Net were very, very close to that death wall there. It was smart of them to back off, but now they're way far behind the pack. They're likely going to bank on the stage ending and trying to make some positions back up. Meanwhile, we got Chris trying to catch up for the lead. Big stack up in the hairpin once again. F1R's around.
Couple of cars stacking up in turn 8. Everybody gets it back underway. Still green. So Red comfortably in the lead, not without a little bit of pressure from Chris out back. But these two are a long way in front of Gavin, who's in P3, and then his teammate Cap, 3 Oceanic cars in a row from 2nd through 4th. Back to the 14.
Cap slowly gaining back on Gavin for the 3rd spot. If I recall correctly, Cap was pretty far back on the last restart. He's gained a crap ton of time here. He's zooming in that pink and cyan 14.
6 laps coming to 5 laps to go in stage number 1. Red still with the lead. Battle for the 4th spot is between the 2 teammates, Cap and Gavin. Cap fighting against his team owner here, trying to find a way up the inside in the penultimate corner, and does. A nice move by the 14 forces Gavin out of line over the rumble strip, and he takes over P3. Gavin down to 4th. A couple of laps ago, Steph got by Jelen for the 5th and final stage spot. And it is very spread out now.
Yeah, Cap will clear Gavin for that position. Gavin tries to send one up the inside, not going to work. Cap does have the fastest lap so far. He's been visibly gaining on these leaders. I would not be surprised if he's on their bumper come the end of the stage.
Yeah, these two in the lead are not all that slow either, so it's going to be a tall order for him to run these two down. Might take some battling or some mistakes. As Red continues to sit comfortably out in front of Chris, though a nice turn 9 by the 25 there that time through as they continue to battle for the 3rd spot. Cap holding off Gavin for the moment, though the 8 putting a lot of pressure on that 14 for the 3rd position. And a mistake out of Jelen lost him a lot of time to Steph. There's a battle behind him between Addicted and Net. Net almost into the inside wall there. That was for P7. So 4 laps to go in stage number 1. The question now becomes if Chris can run down the 4 and close these last handful of car lengths to the lead before the stage ends. Red, your points leader, and Chris 2nd in the standings. And a big mistake out of the 25. He gets the inside wall. Chris trying everything he can, really painted the wall there in turn 9 to try and make some time up, but Red pulls away. The top 2 in the standings are once again 1 and 2. The dominant season for the 4 and the 25 continuing here in stage 1 here in Kansas City. It's Red, followed by Chris, Cap, Gavin, Steph. Those 5 who have been very fast pretty much all stage. And also, most certainly the most mistake-free. Hydra apparently almost flipped. Addicted goes around from P7, drops a couple of places, and Red, a mistake from the lead! Chris gets into him! A collision between the top 2, and now out of nowhere, it could be a 4-horse race for the stage! Here comes Chris up the inside trying to take the lead, can't quite get there, 2 to go. Huge mistake from Red, who thought he might have had that stage 1. Now out of nowhere, he's got 3 teammates in a line behind. Chris trying to get up the inside, can't do it. All over the back bumper of the 4. Red and Chris battling for the lead. Such a tight mix there in turn 8, the slowest corner on the track. Cap trying to go up the inside. He can't find the lane. Briefly 3 wide into the final corner. Chris up the inside. Red almost drives him into the wall. A little bit of contact. I don't think Red thought he was going to get there. White flag in stage 1. Chris all over the back bumper of the 4. Towards turn 3, this could be the chance. Chris closer than he has been all stage. Can he get there? Red trying to go defensive. Chris up the inside. Cap into the inside wall. It's just the top 2 now as Chris and Red pull away from Cap. Gavin takes over 3rd. Chris into the lead. Can he hold it? Into the 3rd sector for the final time in stage 1. Biggest passing zone on the track in turn 8. Does Red get up the inside? Chris trying to go defensive. Red runs him all the way out to the outside wall. Gavin and Cap almost into the mix. Chris is going to run him back wide. Here comes Red. Gavin in the inside wall. Everybody all over the racetrack. Chris out of the final corner is going to hold on and win stage 1. What a race between those 2. As everybody comes around to complete the stage, I should note that a mistake on the restart on lap 2 is that the rule at road courses is that we should be single file on all restarts aside from the initial. So single file from this point forward, I should point that out. But wow, what a race between the top 5 there at the end, and especially the top 2. Red really sent it up the inside of Chris, tried to drive him wide there in 8, but Chris with the inside line into 9, drove him just a little bit in. Red tried to use him up a little bit, but not quite enough, and Cap also snuck away with P3 there. So Chris, a nice stage win over his early championship rival. Steph gets back into P4, a nice recovery from him. And Gavin, despite ending up on the back foot there in the final sector, will still grab himself a stage point. And it is not letting me send the message to announce the stage result. I swear to God, there's no way, bro, please. Fine, I'll put it on the notepad. Jesus. You know, hold on. What the fuck? What? I can send a message in general, but it won't let me fucking post the stage results. And fucking hell, dude. Okay. Stage 1. It literally will not let me send a message in announcements. What the fuck is going on? Yeah, I'm gonna do that real quick. I'm dealing with the 2 worst apps of all time. Okay. Should be good now. Just realized I don't have streamer mode on. So, grab that. Okay. Let's see if it'll work this time. What? Now I can't even load the messages and announcements. What the fuck? Dude, this is actually the worst app ever invented. What do you mean? There is no way, dude. Hold on. Discord status. You have got to be fucking kidding me. Asked any application we use to function during an NSN race, what they do next will shock you. That was almost an hour ago, and they haven't even... Yeah, whatever. Okay. Well, anyway. Yeah, no, it is. Like an hour ago, almost, they're having an API error of some kind. Again, we're 2 races. We are 2 races into the resuming of the season. And there's already been an issue with one of the apps that we use. That's fucking just diabolical. It's like they know, man. All right, whatever. Anyway, let's get stage 2 started. 15 laps once again. In this stage, it'll be Chris up front. All right, be ready. Green flag, and we are back underway. A nice start for the top 3. Cap looked like he got off the best out of it. Got going in a big hurry. A little bit of a collision in the back. Addicted goes around. F1R. Jack sideways. Junior involved in it. And Red way up the inside against Chris in turn 3. And Red right away on the opening lap of stage 2 takes over the lead. Steph back into the mix. Into P3 off the start. Into turn 8. 3 wide. Here comes Steph up the inside. Red with the big run around the outside. Chris trying to go back on the bottom. Steph a little bump. Gavin involved in it. Cap goes for a spin. Gelling around. Couple of cars spinning in the back. Red holds the lead side by side for second as the top 4 break away thanks to the big stack up there in turn 9. Chris drops down to 3rd. Still right on the back bumper of Steph. Gavin going to try to go way up the inside of his teammate in turn 3. Steph all the way on the bottom. How about him trying to go past Red for the lead? And he will. Right back to the lead as the pole sitter. Steph back into P1. Red trying to go up the inside in turn 9. Little bit of a tap. Steph. Oh, he looks to lead on him. He does. Red back around the outside trying to hold the lead, but Steph, a nice crossover into the final 2 corners. Red almost spins. He drops all the way back down to 4th, and Steph back into the lead right away. What a battle it's been at the top of this table between these guys. Red just running it a little wide, coming out of turn 10 into the grass. Net really needs some points here today. Takes over that 5th position. Oh, Gavin into the inside wall hard. Net has to throw it in the fence to avoid, and he goes for a spin. Hydra has to stop not to hit him. A great piece of avoidance there from Hydra to not make that wreck worse. And one of the narrowest parts of the track. They're 3 wide back there as Cap's trying to recover from the collision off the restart. Everybody sorts it out. Steph starting to pull away from Chris just a little bit in the lead. Ooh! Chris got the inside wall. That is not the most surprising thing I've ever heard. Oh, Red gets the inside wall. Has to get out of Chris's way. Chris does a nice job of keeping it against the inside wall to get around him. And loses some time as a result. So Steph now a big, big lead. Almost 2 seconds over Chris. Red another 2 seconds behind that third. Addicted with his race car moves into the 4th position. Gavin 5th. Oh, and Tanner is out of the race in turn 2. Caution is going to come out. Second natural caution of the race, and Tanner takes an early exit. And once again, Steph's lead curse continues across leagues. Almost a 2-second gap to Chris in P2, and even further behind that Red. And we're back under caution. Cap and Gavin, 49 nines from both of them. Oh, it loaded announcements. Let's see if I can send the fucking stage results. There we go. Cool. There is not, no. And if there was, we would have had to rejoin because of qualifying. Yes, you did. Waiting for Chris to get back here. Works every time. All right, so Steph in the lead. Seen this top 5 with a lot of pace in this event. Steph will lead us to it. Be ready. Green flag. Very good start for the top 3 once again. Single file as they head through turn 2. And yes, he was. All right, redo. Oh, he wasn't even in the game. Yeah, good. Not like you can control it. Control your cocks. Hi. Yo, dude, the thing that Slide put in Sprite General, like what that was like what this morning, bro, that had me crying, bro. Alright, let's try this again. Steph up front. I think everybody's here. Let's get started. Ready. Green flag. And we are underway once again here in stage 2. Single file. Steph to lead through turn 2. Chris, Red, Addicted, Gavin, Cap, Hydra. All up front. It is so many Oceanic cars up front. Steph gonna take advantage of the fact, oh, Addicted got hit there. He ran into, I believe, Chris. Not sure, there were a lot of cars getting into each other there. So Steph holds the lead as everybody else kind of traded paint for P2 on back. Chris, a handful of car lengths behind. Indy 8, Red pushes Chris into the corner a little bit, though Chris drove it in pretty hard himself. Side by side for the lead, a little contact. Cap in the inside while he spins. Side by side for P2 behind. Red able to hold on and take that spot. Steph holds the lead. The top 4 once again break away. Now it's Hydra in the 5th position. Behind that, it's Net, then Addicted. Red way up the inside trying to drive it in on Steph. Can't get there. That allows Chris up the inside. Much more patience by the 25 there. And that allows him to close in on Red. Ooh, almost got the inside wall in the most narrow part of the racetrack. That would have been a bad spot to be in. A little bit of a collision between Gavin and Chris. No harm, no foul. They keep it together. Red closes in on Steph, and Steph leaves the bottom open. Here comes the 4 for the lead. Trying to go round the outside in the final 2 corners. Steph, a little bit of contact. They slide. He holds the lead. Red right on his back bumper, though. This has been an incredible race so far. These leaders have been going at it all night long. Red looking up the inside. Steph, the drive on the outside to hold him off. The top 4 still under a blanket. Still, Steph, Red, Chris, and Gavin equal distance between them. Red up the inside. Chris takes it 3 wide for a split second. Again, that outside line run off. A little bit of contact in the quarter panel. Chris goes through. The 25 takes over the lead. Steph trying to get him back for P1. They're side by side coming out of the final corner. Steph almost in the inside wall. He manages to get the lead back, but now it's Chris in P2. He gets the inside wall. Man, that was a scary moment for the 25. Now it's Red P3. Hydra, with all the battling between the leaders, is closing. Contact between Chris and Steph. Here comes Red to try to retake P2, and he will. What a battle at the top of this table. Steph, your leader. Red trying to go up the inside. A little bit of contact. And through go both of second and third. Red and Chris into the lead in second place. Chris up the inside in 9. He takes over the lead. Steph down to third. Red trying to go up the inside of the final corner. They get into each other. They manage to hold on to it. These guys are probably traded half of their paint to each other by this point. 25-4, 67. Then Gavin in the 8 in 4th. And Hydra in 5th. Red up the inside, into turn 3. Chris trying to cross him over. Still side by side for V1. Steph giving him some room. Red trying to shut the door there at the inside wall. Chris goes for a spin, so does Steph. He's around, into the inside wall. Addicted slips through, so does Hydra and Gavin. Chris backwards. Steph sideways on the entry to turn 8. F1R involved in it. And we will bring out the caution for that one. So many cars collected. The never-ending wreck. Red takes over the lead. Cap cross the line, buddy. Third natural caution of the race. It has been a thriller of a night here in Kansas City so far. Red will receive a penalty point. It was close to racing, because it's hard to judge the fact that Chris was just barely there on the inside, but that is the tightest part of the track, so. Under caution here in Kansas City. Red takes over the lead. It'll be 3 to go in stage number 2. Red, Gavin, Hydra, Chris, and then Addicted, your top 5. Jelen is, no, there he is. Couple of drivers that need some stage points, looking hungry on the outside looking in. Red to lead the field. Let's get set. Ready. Green flag in the air. Very good start by the top 2. Red and Gavin get away just a little bit. Hydra. Red into the inside wall and they crash! Red grabs the inside wall in 2. He drops out of the lead. Gavin, for the first time tonight, finds himself P1. Steph, a huge drive into turn 3. He takes over P2. Chris down to 3rd. Nets in 4th. Cat P5. Everybody sliding through the backstretch chicanes. Huge stack up, briefly 4 wide. Steph around the outside, holds on, but he goes a little bit wide into turn 9. Chris up the inside. He grabs 2nd. Net up the inside of Steph for P3. The 67 drops down to 4th. 2 to go in the stage. Gavin trying to scamper away with it. Diamond's off out of turn 3. Collision behind Addicted and Cap got into each other. That was for 5th. Does Chris have the speed to run down the leader? Steph, a collision with Cap. They get into each other. Chris trying to go up the inside in turn 8. He gets the inside wall. Steph up the inside of net. It's chaos behind. Gavin almost got the inside wall in the final corner. White flag waves one time around in stage 2, left to go. About 5 car lengths between the 8 and the 25, maybe a little more than that. Can Chris get there in the final lap? Gavin again leaves a lot of bottom open. That allows Chris to close the gap. Gavin using every inch of the track. Down to 8. Chris looking up the inside. Gavin a little bit wide. Little bit of contact. And there goes Steph in the back. Chris trying to get there. Gavin looking to hold him off. Into the final 2 corners. Chris coming up the inside. Does he get there? Not quite. Gavin wins stage 2. Cat P3. 4th is Addicted and Jellin finds P5. What a wild race here in Kansas City. We take a look back at the incident there. A couple of them worth reviewing. Ooh, that was net a big send. That'll be a penalty on the 28. Got into Steph there. Steph not happy about that one, and I don't blame him. There was another incident between Red and Jellin the lap before that, if I'm not mistaken, in the same corner, too. Ooh, yeah. That was a big send. All right. So stage 2 complete, 30 laps to go in Kansas City as we near the tick over to 10 p.m. Eastern. It's Gavin in the lead, getting ready for the restart. Still 12 cars in this race as we start the 3rd stage, and now that I've mentioned it, we're about to experience a little bit of a DNF fest, I assume. 8 car going to lead us to the restart as we get ready. Be ready to go here. Green flag. Okay, no, Jack was not going on the restart. No, he's good. So Gavin with the lead, side by side between the 2 teammates. That's Addicted and Cap as they restarted 1, 2, 3, 4 and finished that way in stage 2. Gavin's got the lead. Chris trying to go up the inside. A lot of cars out the inside. Steph grabs the inside wall. There's a collision behind. Red goes for a spin. Top 5, same group since the restart, breaks away. Steph into 6th. Addicted slides across Jellin's nose. That was a scary spot. Into 8. Jellin goes around. Big stack up behind. Steph finds his way through. He's into 4th past Addicted. Cap into P3. Finished there in both stages. Stays there after the restart. Gavin under pressure from Chris for the lead. Oh, Chris very sideways. Gavin, a nice line there. Contact behind Hydra and I believe Red. And there's a big collision in the back. Everybody gets it back going. Not sure exactly what that was. Chris trying to go up the inside. Cap even further up the inside. Now he ends up side by side with Chris as Chris gets sandwiched between his teammates. Cap trying to lean on him in turn 9. Gavin a little bit wide. Finds his way back to the optimal line through 10 and 11 to hold the lead. Top 3 under a blanket. Addicted and Steph licking their chops. Addicted in 5th, Steph 4th. Hoping these guys battle hard. Red not happy. Chris really cutting it close there in turn 6. Now into 8, the hairpin. He's going to go for the move up the inside. Gavin has to give him the space, but Chris gets the inside wall. And he drops it all the way down to 5th. That opens up a big gap for Gavin in the lead as they battle for 2nd. Steph trying to go around the outside of Cap. Cap manages to hold him off for the time being. Ooh, that was close there in turn 2. Red, I think, ended up in a bad spot there. Out of turn 2 again. Looked like he lost a spot to Jellin. He's going to go up the inside in turn 3. F1R a part of that battle as well. Has not been the day that really... And they're wrecking again. Red's backwards a second time. And he spins again. Junior's collected in it. Jack gets a part of it. Goodness gracious. Red a long way down the order. No idea what's going on back here. But the point I was going to try to make is that it has not really been the day that any of these cut line guys would have wanted. The only one that I feel like has had any speed tonight has been the 28, and Net hasn't managed any stage points despite being in the top 5 a couple of times. He's had a good car, just ended up in some bad spots, and a mistake, I believe, from Gavin, as I was talking about and checking up on the points. And Cap takes over the lead. Battle behind. Steph and Addicted side by side for 3rd. Steph gonna run up the inside in the final corner, take over and hold on to that 3rd spot. Now Chris going against his teammate. Gonna give him the lane in turn 2. So Cap now in the lead. It has been a long time since this 14 went to victory lane. As he leads here in the 3rd stage, it was Martinsville Snow back in Season 3. That was the 2nd of August, 2023. Only a season and some change since then, but it has been nearly 3 calendar years since Cap last went to victory lane. Has been competitive that entire time, so no marks against him for that, but a long time since he last visited victory lane, tied for 2nd winningest driver in the series. And has had one of the cars to do it today. Him, Gavin, Steph, and big drive by Steph into turn 8 there, but Gavin holds on to P2. Yeah, as Thomas mentioned there, Cap does a really good job of setting up turn 9 to take 11 and or 10 and 11 a lot better, but he makes a mistake. I think he might have lagged and he's out of the lead. Oh no! Disaster for the 14. Gavin back to the front. And now Steph into P2. Chris third, Addicted fourth, and Cap in P5. Steph, who has maybe been the best car in this race, recovery drive after recovery drive in every stage so far, finds his way back to second. Now he's putting the pressure on Gavin for the top spot, trying to go up the inside. Side by side into turn 9, little bumper. Gavin with the slider holds the lead. Nice defense by the 8, but not a great turn 10 that allows Steph back into it. He's going to look up the inside going into turn 1, all the way down on the bottom. Dead heat between the top 2 as they head into turn 2. Gavin forced to take it tight, and Steph takes the lead over. Gavin going to try to go back up the inside in 3, forces Steph wide. Can he get the drive off? He does, but he's not clear. But Gavin's going to yield through 4 and 5. Now the run down to 8. Steph very wide in the narrowest part of the track, keeps it on the road. Here comes Gavin back up the inside. Steph, a little bit of contact, but that actually helps Gavin. Chris stopped on the apex as the 3 teammates battle behind. A crossover by the 8, and Gavin takes the lead back. But again goes wide in turn 11. Steph back up the inside. Not going to challenge this time through turns 1 and 2, but this time a little bit of contact, never mind. Trying to go out the outside into 2. Now he's going to go out the inside of the widest part of the track into 3. But a little bit too much swerving. But Gavin goes wide. Steph finds the speed on the inside, and they're still side by side. And Hydra's out of the race, and the caution's going to come back out. Battle for the lead raging on through the final 2 corners. Gavin manages to win out, and inside the final 20 laps, he holds the lead. What a fight it has been up front all night long. I figured as much. Pardon me. This is, dude, no, like, real talk right now, bro. This is challenging Twin Ring Season 3 for, like, best race this league has ever had. This has been incredible all the way through. That's the thing. A race is never truly like a top tier banger without being a little nerve-wracking, you know? Yeah, no, dude. This we made this track before Coronado, man. It's peak. This is based on, there's like an LA highways map on BeamNG, and it has an airport, and the airport layout is the same as that. Fun fact. Or it's like Death Valley Highways or something. I don't remember what it's called, and I don't have that map anymore, but... Fuck. Alright, so it'll be 19 laps to go. When we go green this time, Gavin holds the lead as we get ready for the restart. Be ready. Green flag. Not a good start for Gavin. Caught a little bit off guard after he went early and Addicted goes for a spin on turn 1. Jellin involved in it. Jack spins as well. 3 cars under a blanket heading into turn 3. Steph up the inside. Cap trying to find some grip around the outside. Contact! Steph gets the inside wall. Gavin goes around. Oh no! And how about this? Net takes over the lead. He's been in the top 5 tonight, but we haven't seen him in the lead just yet. And F1R's into the death wall hard. He's out of the race. First time he was in the top 5 today, and he instantly goes into the death wall. That's heartbreaking for the 36. Back to the stripe. Net, I believe, leads it. And the beef that isn't beef between Steph and Gavin continues into Kansas City. How about it? Net into the lead here. And that's that trouble spot there, turn 7, and we finally have seen it bite somebody. It's F1R, who will take an 11th place points finish. And that's the one spot on the track that you cannot afford to grab that inside wall. We keep talking about it. It's the narrowest spot on the racetrack. And we've seen some hard hits there in the past, and today no different. Parker takes a DNF on lap number 42. 17 to go. So Net, who's in need of some points here tonight, finds himself in the lead. Lap number 44, be ready. Green flag. Top 5, get away well. Red all over the back bumper of Chris for 3rd. Yields that position for the moment. Cap P2. Chris 3rd, Red 4th, Addicted 5th, then Jellin, Gavin, Steph. Jack and Junior in the back of the field behind that. Net a little wide, and he leaves a lot of bottom open, and Chris up the inside takes over 3 wide behind him. Chris forced to yield. Addicted and Red side by side as they head through turn 6 and 7. Still side by side towards 8. Cap with the lead into the heaviest braking zone on the track. Net doesn't get in the corner the way he wants. Everybody side by side. Red a collision with Net. He's into the wall. Gavin goes around and out there into the outside wall. That is a huge crash. We're just going to call it even though it's the first lap. That was a massive wreck. Goodness gracious. And it was off the bumper of the 28. Usually I wouldn't throw a caution on the first lap, as you all know, especially not on a road course, but that was basically everybody. So Cap back into the lead after his lag a little bit earlier. $15 to go on the restart here in Kansas City. Cap, Steph, Net now your top 3. All right. Be ready. Oh, wait a minute. Never mind. I'm stupid. Chris isn't even here. I always have my camera facing towards, like, the back of the field. So, all right, I'm going to bring it back to yellow. I will ask R again. I missed that a lot. I'm stupid. Don't worry about it. All right. 15 to go. Be ready. Green flag. Better start by Steph. Gives Cap a little bit of a push towards turns 1 and 2, and they get through clean. I really need to clear that debris from Red. I keep forgetting on the restarts. Red looking to go way up the inside into 3. A little bit of a push from Net to Steph. He ends up worse off. Here comes Addicted up the inside of Steph. Side by side for second behind Cap. Everybody clean. They head towards 8. Here's the trouble spot. Does everybody get through? Red trying to go up the inside. Briefly 4 wide. Addicted up the inside. Chris ends up sideways. Gavin ends up worse off. They get back going. Cap, Addicted, Red, Steph. The top 4 have broken a long way away. Cap a little wide. Addicted almost got into him there. Goodness gracious. That was Gavin, who was sideways out of turn 2, I believe. Managed to hold on to it. And he did make a comment about that. 14 to go. Addicted, despite the damage, we haven't seen him lead all race. Cap having to cover the inside. Addicted looking down on the bottom in 9. Collision, I believe that was Red who went around. A collision between Steph. Addicted trying to go around the outside in turns 10 and 11, and he makes it happen. Addicted to the lead. Addicted holding on. Cap forced tight there in 3. A long time ago. It was in stage 2, I think. Addicted takes over P1. We haven't seen him lead yet today. And he is starting to pull away from Cap. $12 to go now. The battle is in the back of the field. Red is in P4 ahead of Chris in 5th. Gavin Jellin behind that. Cap is doing a good job of keeping Addicted not too terribly far out his windshield right now. He's got to find a way to run this 23 down. And Addicted very wide there in the mid-corner, but gets off of turn number 8 very nicely. You're just seeing this acceleration from the 23 right now with that back end missing. Everybody's still clean behind. 11 to go. Cap would hate to see another win slip through his fingers. He's finished second place a lot since that last win at Martinsville. Gotta be frustrating. Addicted again. Just that crazy slide there in turn 8. Maybe not the turn 9 that the 23 would have been looking for. That allows Cap to close back in a little bit in the final 2 corners. It is now 10 to go. That was a nice last lap by Cap. Almost got into the door of Addicted, but again, the 23 on exit of one of the hairpins, able to drive away. I think Cap was maybe trying just a little bit too hard to get to him there in the first place. Cost him a little time on exit, but again, Addicted is very good in these hairpins. But such a good turn 8 by the 14 there. Again, Addicted forced to lift a little bit for turn 10. Cap closes in just a touch, but again, Addicted was so fast there in the middle sector. Able to pull away. 9 to go. Can Cap find a way to get back to his teammate? Will another caution fly? There's a lot of question marks left in this race. These two have ran away from the rest of the field. It's Steph in the catbird seat if anything happens to the leaders. Addicted a little wide. Cap gets into him a little bit. That might help him out. He gained a little bit of time when Addicted usually pulls away there in 8. But Addicted a lot better through 10 and 11 that time than the last 2 laps. Able to equal out the gap. Eight laps left. Addicted again so fast coming out of 3. That's really been his best spot on this run. Does Cap have the chance to get there? Again, Addicted runs real wide coming out of 8 and just shoots down the straightaway afterwards. That's got to be so infuriating if you're that 14 car. 7 to go. Everybody else has stayed clean behind. Closest battle on the track is between Chris and Red. Steph a mistake. Dropped off of the top 2, so now it's just between Addicted and Cap without a caution. Much tighter to the inside was Addicted that time, and again he pulls away. So now there's 3 cars under a blanket for third with 6 laps left. We are at a smaller field size now, so it would take less cars to bring in a yellow flag. Red and Chris side by side. Addicted is scampering away. Hard battle for fourth between the 4 and the 25. Addicted might have made a little bit of a mistake there in 8. Hard to tell since I was paying attention. And a contact there. Red gets into Chris. Apologizes immediately. That was for fourth. Chris keeps it well out of the death wall. Everybody's still clean. Five laps to go in Kansas City. I think Addicted's just trying to take care. He really runs wide in turns 8. A little closer to the inside wall in 9, but in 8, I think he's really just trying to keep it off of the inside wall and make sure he doesn't make a mistake that would cost him this win because he's got a comfortable lead now over Cap. Oh, car in the wall. That's Jellin. He gets back going. 4 to go. There's not really a single car close to each other on the track by this point. It's going to take a mistake out of somebody DNFing to bring out a potential final caution. But Addicted would not want that. 3 to go between the two teammates. Cap still close enough if Addicted makes a mistake. But this 23 is on rails. Two laps to go at the stripe. I believe there was a mistake made there by Steph. Or something happened. It was between him and Red, potentially. Red into third. 2 laps left. Addicted just needs to make it to this white flag, and he is home free. Just a couple more corners to go. Steph almost ran it in the death wall there, coming out of turn 7. Everybody makes it clean. White flag is in the air. One time around for Addicted, comfortably in the lead over Cap. Well, into the final sector goes the 23 of Addicted over his teammate Cap. Got the wall in turn 8. Cap closes in, but not enough. Headed through the final 2 turns. Thought it might not happen, but it is going to happen anyway. Addicted holds Cap off, and out of the final corner, the 23 wins it in Kansas City. Cap comes home in second. Battle between Ned and Chris coming to the line. Contact between them. Red third, Steph fourth. Chris will bring it home in P5. Net in 6th. 7th is Gavin. Jellen in 8th. Jack 9th, and it will be Junior in 10th. Well, you figure some things are meant to be, and Addicted grabs the win. Your winner after a wild one here in Kansas City, and the 23 is your victor. Victory lane is in the infield. Addicted grabs another career road course win here in Kansas City. quite the show, but it can only go to one, and Addicted wins it. All right. So, Addicted, your winner here tonight. A fabulous performance at the end of the show, and I believe you grabbed the fastest lap at the end of the race, too. Just overall, a great run from you in the final stage here tonight, where it was in the back half of the top 5 for a lot of the middle portion of that race, but found your way to the front right when it mattered, and you got it done here tonight, my friend.
Indeed I did, my good friend.
So obviously a big challenge from Cap there at the end of that from the 14, and managed to hold him off at the end there. Just run me through what's running through your mind at the end there with your teammate behind you at the end of that thing.
I cannot blame Cap for being upset, losing a damaged car like that. Like, I've been in that same situation as well, and everyone else doesn't like a win that way. Can't blame him. I don't really know what else to say.
Well, congrats on another win, and good for you in the point standings here tonight with that checkered flag, as Addicted takes what is, if I can check the all-time win list, his 4th career win here tonight. Second place belongs to Cap, who is not here, and third place, that's Red. Your championship leader with a good finish at the end of this one, ends up in the top 3. So a good run for you over the course of this race. Had a quick car, just not quite the position you would have wanted at the end, but a top 3 is pretty good, so can't blame you for that one. But at the end of that day, it was a good race for you overall, just not quite the win that you would have hoped for, but still a good points finish, and a good run for you today to try and extend that points lead.
Yeah, honestly, that race was that was amazing. The battles with me, Steph, Yorkie, Gavin, Cap, that was cinematic, bro. I made a mistake at the end of stage 2. I made a mistake, costed myself. I was in the back. I don't know what those guys were doing back there. They were just, yeah. But I feel bad for F1R because he probably would have gone in top 5. But he just made a mistake. I got back to P4 or P3 or something, and then I think Steph hit me, and then I fell back, and then he made a mistake. And then I got back to P3, but that was a really fun race. I felt like I could have won. I felt like I was capable of winning the race. But sometimes it doesn't go your way, and that's okay. Congrats to Addicted. Just want to shout out Gavin, Cap, Yorkie, F1R, and Steph. That was really fun, and I hope the races, I hope the races we have coming up are good. So yeah, P3 is good.
All right, that is your P3 finisher and your points leader, Red. We head to P4. It's Steph, your pole sitter from tonight, who had such a great race car, but kind of tumbled down the order right at the end of that, dropped P3 to the 4 car, but still a pretty good finish at the end of the day. A top 5 is a top 5. Good run for you here tonight. So what are your thoughts coming out of that one?
Great car. Shout out to Full Send Motorsports. They put together a great Mobile One Lexus, whatever make it is. That thing was bad fast. Just didn't get the restart we wanted there. The 23 got into us. And it was sort of something that happened throughout the race. But, he's just taking advantage of what that car can do. You know, once that car is so light, you can just send it in there and then advance off the corner. So I can't hate. He's just taking advantage of the equipment he has. But man, it was a lot of fun racing out there today. We'll be back next week.
As your P4 finisher, Steph, with a good result from the pole here tonight. And the final man we'll talk to in this one is Chris, who rounds out the top 5. Was another one of those cars that had just a fabulous run here today. Such a great car underneath of him as well. Pretty much everybody we've talked to here tonight did. But it is a P5 finish for Chris. A little bit behind your championship rival here tonight, but overall it was a good race for you, and I think you ended up with a little bit more stage points than he did, so might end up coming out to a wash here tonight. But either way, good run for you at the end. Just probably wishing you could have competed for that win there at the end of that one.
Yeah, just thankful that the finish came a lot earlier than it did, because I was screwing up a lot there at the end. Dropped down to net. I was right there, was right at the end too. It was fun and nerve-wracking, but can't be there at the end. You're there throughout the whole race, and then it's fall apart. That's just how it goes.
Well, that is an unfortunate end to the race, but still a pretty good finish at the end of the day. And again, those stage points are going to help you a lot at the end of that one. That's your top 5 here tonight. Next time out, unfortunately, a collective groan from the field as we head to Talladega next week. And after that, it will be the Sunset Peninsula Road Course, Motegi's Oval and Road Course, and Bluegrass, your final 5 races of the regular season, a ways left to go before we hit the postseason for our final championship battle. But that will do it here from Kansas City. V2 join me in the booth here tonight. I've been your host, Caden Reif. It's been a pleasure to have you along, as always. We'll see you next time, and have yourself a good one.